Hi guys and welcome back. My name is Jay and I make cycling videos and put them on the internet. This one is going to be a little bit less cycling focused and a little bit more just sort of 2026 focused, I guess. You are apparently 42% more likely to complete a goal if you write it down compared to just sort of having it as a thought in your mind. So this is me writing down or recording myself setting my goals for 2026. As the majority of my videos have been around Zwift and racing and cycling, the majority of my goals for 2026 that I'm sort of putting out there are going to be around those same sorts of things: cycling, fitness in general, and just this is my attempt at one, seeing if that stat is true, but also sort of trying to keep myself accountable for those things. And hopefully if there's anyone watching that's going to help me keep myself accountable as well. I'd love for little check-ins throughout the year, just little comments. Hey, remember when you said you were going to do this back in December of 2025? Just little things like that would really help me out as we go along this journey. So we're going to set some goals, going to make them clear, going to make them concise, and just explain briefly why they matter to me. Got some distance goals, got some sort of FTP goals, got some just sort of general goals, and lastly we'll finish with some sort of YouTube goals as well, just to sort of tie that in at the end as well, because I think that'll be quite nice to get that out there, because this is still quite new to me as well. So I'm someone who exercise is a large part of my life. I've spent the last 2 to 3 years with a lot of running focused goals. I've completed a triathlon, I've completed a marathon, I've completed an ultra marathon. That was back in July. And then since then, I've sort of switched to cycling and Zwift and indoor training. I've got the trainer set up here next to me. And so I'm going to try and carry that into 2026, at least for the first part anyway, because I do have one running goal for the year as well, which I'll get into a little bit later on in this video. So my first goal is to ride a total of 8,000 kilometers in 2026. So I've been back on Zwift for 2 months now, and it was surprising to me the other day. I was looking over my Strava details for the year, and I have ridden 1,200-ish, just over 1,200 kilometers in the 2 months that I've been back on the platform. So an average of about 600 kilometers a month. Now, as I said earlier in the video, I've completed an ultra marathon this year. That was back in July. So I'd spent the entire first half of the year training for that. And in my mind, I did a lot more distance running than I have done on the trainer cycling. But actually, when I was looking over those stats, I've spent, like I say, I've done 1,200 kilometers on the bike. In total this year, I have ran 956 or 957 kilometers. So it was quite surprising to me that I'd managed to, in that sort of relatively short amount of time, spend more time on the bike than I had running. With that in mind, like I say, an average of 600 kilometers per month, which for 2026 would make it 7,200 kilometers. But just for a little bit of extra challenge and just to make it a sort of nicer number, I set myself the goal of cycling 8,000 kilometers by the end of 2026. Now, as we go through this video as well, you'll just see some Zwift footage of me taking part in a couple of the Rapha 500 group rides that have been taking place on Zwift recently. If you don't know, the Rapha 500 is a Strava challenge that takes place between Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. So you have 8 days where you have to cycle, virtual cycle, outdoor cycle, however you do it. You have 8 days to complete 500 kilometers of cycling. I'm currently 200 kilometers into that challenge. I've done 4 50-kilometer rides. It is the 29th today, so 2 more days of the challenge. I'll probably do 2 more 50k rides. That'll take me to 300 kilometers. I'm going to fall short of completing that challenge this year, but I didn't know it was coming. I'll be better prepared for it next year, and next year it might be the difference between completing my 8,000 kilometer goal and not. So I might actually need to complete the Rafa 500 to complete my first goal of 2026, which is to cycle 8,000 kilometers. If you've been following the channel for a little while, you will know that I also have a goal of ascending Alpe du Zwift, tallest virtual mountain in Watopia, in under 60 minutes. In the previous video, that was about a week and a half ago at this point, I set a 2025 PB up Alpe du Zwift of 77 minutes. My lifetime PB up there set in 2023 is 75 minutes. I currently have an FTP of 213. I will need to increase that to somewhere between 240 and 250 to be able to sustain enough power to go up the Alp in under 60 minutes. You need to maintain a 3.2 watt per kilogram average in order to do it in that time. My current weight, that's what I need. That's the FTP that I need to get to. I'm going to do the FTP builder program that's built into Zwift. I'm going to try and start lifting. I was doing a little bit of strength training whilst I was ultra training, so I'm going to try and bring that in as well, just get a little bit more power into my legs, and see if we can meet that goal quicker. That is the sort of big goal for 2026, is to get that FTP bump and bring that time down, because I think it'd be really nice if we could have the lift off achievement in Zwift sitting in the little virtual trophy cabinet, if you like, on Zwift. And then in general, I just want to get out on the bike more. It's really convenient at the moment with the time of year. It's winter, it's dark, and just with family situation, to have the trainer here, to be able to just hop upstairs, put Zwift on the computer, put a film on my phone or whatever, and just cycle for as far as I've got time to do. But as the year moves on and the days get longer and the weather gets nicer, I want to spend a lot more time outside on the bike. As I've already said, I've spent a lot of time in the last couple of years outside training for marathons and stuff, but I'd like to do the same thing now with bikes and just get out there on the bikes. And one sort of major thing that I want to accomplish this year is an overnight bike packing trip. So just load everything up on the bike, go out somewhere, camp or B&B, and then come back the next day. I'm in the very early stages of planning one of those trips with one of my friends, so be able to see how that goes later on in the year. Hopefully that gets off the ground. And even if he can't, I might even just do it myself, do it solo, see what happens, see if I can do it, and then look to go a little bit longer and further afield in the future, and hopefully take the camera with me and document those trips and see how we get on them. And as I said earlier, I've got one running goal this year. I would like to run the Chester Marathon. So like I said at the beginning, I've done lots of running events, but I've never ran a road marathon. I've run a trail marathon, and my ultra marathon was a trail ultra as well. I've never run a road marathon, so I'd like to try and train for the Chester Marathon, which takes place in October. So I probably wouldn't have to start training for that until about April to give myself enough time to get ready for that. But yeah, I'd like to run the Chester Marathon. And again, you can document that on YouTube as well, and see how we get on with there, see if we can get a PB in that. That would be quite nice. And then lastly, to finish off, my last sort of group of goals are all to do, it's only really one goal, but it's to do with YouTube. So I started filming and making videos back in October when I got back on Zwift. And at the time, I sort of set myself the goal of make one video a week, push out one video a week. And they've been mostly racing videos, but we've had a couple of like Alpe du Zwift attempts or FTP tests thrown in there as well. I'd like to continue that sort of cadence, but just be a tiny bit stricter with myself, because sometimes it's been a little bit more than a week, or maybe it's stretched to 2 weeks. I'd like to do one video a week, 2026, and see how we get on there. I don't have a goal for subscribers because I don't know, I feel like if I can get better at making videos, more consistent, then the subscribers will come. But that isn't what I'm making the videos for anyway. This is sort of a record for me, and to see how much I can progress in terms of my cycling and my fitness, but also my filmmaking and communication skills, because I speak to people all day, every day in my job, Most of the time it's in person, sometimes it's on Teams or Zoom or virtual, but stood in a room by myself with a camera, I still find it really a little bit cringy and awkward, and just trying to build some skills really. So get better at talking to the camera, get better at video editing and putting videos together and storytelling that way, and just trying to upskill myself in that. And if I can do that, post consistently, then hopefully the subscribers will come. But if not, it's not the end of the world. Anyway, I'm still having fun making these videos. But it's quite nice that my goals, sort of fitness related and cycling and running and YouTube, they sort of go hand in hand, because the events and the races and the training give me something to talk about and stories to tell, and then YouTube keeps me accountable for those things. So it's a very nice sort of hand in hand thing. And I do have some ideas for other videos completely unrelated to what I've posted in the past. So if this starts to become boring or stale, or I'm just not into it anymore, then there are other directions that I can take YouTube in as well, I think. So that'll be quite good for it's always good to have that sort of in my back pocket. I know that I can always diversify and change direction, and it doesn't always have to be this. As it stands, I'm having a good time making these videos, and I'll keep making videos like this. I enjoy watching them, I enjoy making them, so this is what I'm going to keep doing. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you very much. I'd love to hear what your goals for 2026 are. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and as always guys, I'll see you in the next one.